Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of On Oshkosh. I'm your host, Cheryl Hentz. We've got a jam-packed show tonight. It seems like the last few shows we've done have really been jam-packed, but this one is for sure. We've got two segments tonight. The first segment, we're going to be talking about a local service dog group and a couple of the fundraisers that they have coming up. And then later on in the show, we'll be talking with the Winnebago County Sheriff, John Motz, and one of their canine handlers and one of our newest canine additions to our canine unit at the Sheriff's Department. So that'll be coming up a little bit later. I will tell you that we've got some dates coming up and places. So if you want to get pen and paper or pencil and paper in advance of that so that you can write down some of the dates as they pop up, that would be great. Anyway, with that said, in this brief segment, I'm very happy to welcome to the show for the first time Robin Milner. Robin is, like me, a volunteer with Journey Together Service Dog here in Oshkosh. And welcome.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad that you're here. We struggled. Everybody had plans.
Yes, they did.
And we just kind of threw this together the night before this, and we're taping this on Thursday, July 18th, so we just kind of tossed this together last minute almost, but I'm really glad that you were able to free up your schedule and join us. So, as I mentioned, we do have a couple of fundraisers coming up. One is a big one.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Journey Together, and then we can talk specifically about the fundraiser.
Okay. Journey Together Service Dogs is a nonprofit organization where our service dogs in training are being trained by the inmates at Oshkosh Correctional, and then we place our fully trained service dogs with people with PTSD, victims of crime. Some go to facilities, and we're very highly volunteer-based. And our volunteers socialize and enhance the training of our dogs by taking them out in the community where they expose them to different noises, situations, environments.
People, traffic, things going on like in restaurants. I mean,
stores,
because obviously the inmates can't leave the prison, to take the dogs out. But this is Journey Together has been around since 2015, and it is a 501c3. So if you make a donation to the organization, it is fully tax deductible. But this is the oldest service dog prison program in the state of Wisconsin. So it's very unique. The inmates who train the dogs, they go through quite a vetting process to be able to do this. And the dogs actually live with them at the prison for the 18 months or 2 years that they're in training. And the program has been highly successful. And but of course, not only are we totally volunteer-based for the most part, but we are funded by donations. A few grants, I think, maybe come in, but for the most part, it's private donations. And so that's why these fundraisers are so very important. So, and I should say also, most of the recipients of the dogs are given to people free if they live in Wisconsin. And like Robin said, people with PTSD, or some other kind of anxiety disorder, or if they've been a victim of a crime, which they probably still have some PTSD then too. But free of charge. And I think that's a pretty amazing thing that we're doing, and to have been around for almost 9 years too. So let's talk about this important fundraiser coming up.
Yes, we are going to be having a fundraiser at Barley Hops on Main Street in Oshkosh on Saturday, August 17th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll have customized Bloody Marys, Mimosas, and all the proceeds will go to Journey Together. You can also check out our Pick a Duck game where you can win a prize, and we'll have 50-50 raffle. We're also going to be having a raffle to win a signed Packer football.
That is cool, and I think that's going to, hopefully, that'll be a big draw.
Yes.
So who is it signed by? Is it
all
signed
the players from 2023.
All the players from this last season?
Yes.
Well, that's great.
And coaches as well.
Excellent. Well, that's really something to be raffled off.
It is a copy, but it is a signed copy of the football.
Yeah.
And it's got a...
Well, that's great. And so that's one raffle, and then there are other raffles.
The 50-50 raffle
will
also be taking place during that time.
Are some of our dogs going to be there?
Yes.
Okay.
So come and meet our dogs. It'll be great being able to interact with them as well.
Yeah, it's really a fun program, and it's a much needed program too. So that's from 11 to 3.
Yes,
on
and
August 17th. Barley and
Yes.
Hops is located at 663 North Main Street in Oshkosh. And there's something else special about
Yes,
that
we
day.
have an awesome highlight this year. We're going to have a celebrity bartender. Cami Rapson from WBAY will be there, and she will be making your custom Bloody Marys and Mimosas from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., so she won't be there the whole time, but from 11 to 1. And Cami has been with WBAY for 31 years this year, so a long time for her.
Time.
Yes.
And she's a huge dog lover.
Yes, she is, and she owns an 8-year-old golden retriever named Griff.
Yep.
And she's
I've seen pictures of him.
Yes.
He's pretty neat looking.
Yep, so she is very excited to be helping us out with this as well, and we're very thankful for her generosity of time to help us to raise funds for Journey.
Absolutely. And then anything else that you want to tell us about that day? I know I'll be there for part of the day as well.
It's just a great day to come and just meet with friends. You can come right after the farmer's market and just head on down.
Oh yeah,
and,
that's right,
yeah.
because it's just down the street.
Yes, and just head on down and get your bloody and your mimosa and pick a duck, maybe win the 50-50 raffle, and just meet some of our dogs. And
for someone who doesn't know what this pick a duck thing is, and I'll admit I think I know, but I'm not entirely sure because I've never seen it attached to a raffle before. So what is it?
We just have like a little small pool with ducks in, and it's got numbers on the bottom, and it corresponds to a prize. So
kind of like what we see at the local fair.
Yeah, it's just we have the cool little ducks that are like different occupations and different things. So and that can be one of the prizes as well.
All right, great. Do we know what some of the prizes will be? Are they things that businesses have donated, or?
Not really sure at this moment, but a lot of times it's just been fun little things.
Yeah, we've got some time to put it together. So again, folks, that is on Saturday, August 17th at Barley and Hops from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Barley and Hops is located at 663 North Main Street in Oshkosh. If nothing else, come out to meet the dogs and to have a drink made by Cami Rapson. I think everybody pretty much probably knows her. She's an institution in local news. So please come on out and help support us. And you don't even have to stay for the whole 4 hours. Just come on out for a little bit, pick a duck, see if you win a prize, and for sure come out to get that autographed football. That's the important thing too. One other fundraiser that I wanted to mention, and I'll talk about it because I just threw this kind of in here at the last minute. On Saturday, October 19th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Journey Together Service Dog will be at the 4th annual Craft Masters Craft Sale. And if you think that's easy to say, try it many times in a row. The 4th annual Craft Masters Craft Sale at Capitol Center Sports Bar and Grill, 725 West Capitol in Appleton. Admission is only $1, and all the admissions go to Journey Together. And I don't know, there's going to be a lot of crafts there, and since it is in October, a lot of people are kind of getting in the mood to start buying Christmas gifts, and you never know what you might find. So I would encourage you to come out. And if you want to help us out, but you can't come to any of these events, you can always go to our website, which is journeytogetherservicedog.org, and you can donate online. And if you need some more information about these 2 dates that I gave you, that Robin and I gave you, you can just email me at ionoshkosh@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to give it to you. So anyway, that is it. Pretty straightforward and simple, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, very good.
Hope to see all you guys at Barley and Hops on August 17th.
There we go. So please do come out. All right, we're going to take a real short break. When we come back, we are going to be joined by Winnebago County Sheriff John Motz and the deputy, who is a K9 officer, Deputy Devin Wilson, and his new K9 partner, Gracie. So we're going to take a short break. We'll see you on the other side.
Problems, the ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, we surround a community's most critical problems, and we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
Nearly half of children with autism wander away from safe places such as their home or school. If you ever see a child walking alone, remember the 3 S's. Stop to help, seek assistance from police, stay until they arrive. If a child with autism is missing, immediately search places that pose the most danger, such as nearby water and busy streets. To learn more, visit missingkids.com/aware.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Hi everybody, welcome back from our break, and as promised, we now have Sheriff John Motz, Winnebago County Sheriff. And it's always so funny because there are 2 Winnebago counties, one's in Wisconsin, one's in Illinois, and if you're not careful when you look Winnebago County Sheriff up, I mean, you would not believe the stuff I found. And I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like us.
It's not happening here.
No, it's not. So anyway, Winnebago County Sheriff John Motz and Deputy Devin Wilson, and he is partnered with his canine partner, whose name is Gracie. And I don't know if we can, is she kind of in the shot right now? Can people see her?
Come here.
There she is.
There you go, good girl.
Now you'll probably notice that she is a black standard poodle. When people, and she's going to do a few things later if she feels like it. Like most females, sometimes we do things and sometimes we won't. I shouldn't have probably said that, but in any event, you know, most people when they think about canines, they think of dogs like Lab Retrievers, Golden Retrievers, German Shepherds for sure, Boxers maybe, but rarely, I think, have I ever seen, this is probably the second time I've seen this, a standard poodle as a canine officer. And I think it's important that people understand that, you know, any breed, if they've got the temperament and they can pass the evaluations, you know, to be a canine, any breed can be a canine officer, right?
Absolutely, and it's not just for a therapy dog. There are drug-sniffing dogs that are Jack Russell Terriers, Beagles. It's not common, not here, but at airports I've seen them, and you're exactly right.
Yeah. And these canines, they often do different things. You kind of mentioned some of what they do, you know, detecting drugs and what have you. Does Gracie have specific duties, or is she more of a, like a facility dog, and we can talk about what that is, but kind of like Canine Magic was a facility dog for the Oshkosh Police Department. Sadly, she died way too early. Mm-hmm. But is that kind of what Gracie does? Or?
Yeah, I'll let Deputy Wilson speak to that.
Yeah,
Sure.
Gracie's our facility dog, so me and her work in our jail together. Her job is to provide comfort for the inmates, other staff in the building, victims of crimes, and people in the community. So basically a therapy dog role. within our jail.
So does she just stay on the jail property, or does she ever go out? Because I know like Magic would go out, the police department would take her out if there were situations where people were maybe having an episodic attack because they didn't take their meds or whatever, and she would sometimes go out and assist the officers with that. Does Gracie do anything like that, or is she strictly in the prison and that's it?
Her main job is in the jail. She's still in training, so she's not old enough to be a therapy dog yet. So when she is a therapy dog, I think we'll be out in the community much more. We've been to quite a few community events though recently, and we've got quite a few coming up.
Sure. When you say she's still in training, how long does training like this take?
So you have to be at least a year old for the dog to become a therapy dog. She's only 11 months right now. So once she turns 1, we got some more training I want to do, and then hopefully this fall we'll take the therapy dog test and she'll be certified at that point.
Yeah, now I did read, forget where I read this, but she was being trained, you actually were with her, being trained in somewhere in New Mexico, was that right? Did I read?
Us.
No, that was one of our
your other
traditional K9s, one of the German Shepherds that trained in drug detection and handler protection.
What's that dog's name?
Imani.
Imani.
Yes.
That's an interesting name.
He's the most recent one.
Okay, and then Grace is the second to the most recent?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Because she came, early this year, I think?
January.
January,
Yes.
okay. Yep. All right. Well, so, and I'm sure that she goes and visits employees in the jail too, that, because your job is a stressful one. I don't think that people really entirely realize just how stressful the work is that you guys do. And so, as a citizen, I want to thank you guys for doing what you do.
Thank you.
You work very hard and very honorably to keep us all safe. And so thank you for that. So what kinds of things can Grace do right now? Do you think she'll do anything for us?
Well, she's in a new place, so she might be a little stubborn and not want to listen. But she knows just basic like obedience commands. So sit, down, stay,
well,
wait,
let's see what she'll do. And if she doesn't want to do something, we understand.
I have treats in my pocket, so
there
she'll
you
do
go.
anything for that.
You got to always have treats.
You sit. Let's see.
Maybe it's hard to see her, I think, because of the black curtain too. But Rox, can you maybe zoom in on her so that we can see her there? And now shift the camera a little bit so that we can, there we go.
You shake. Good girl. You go. All right. Lay down. It's a good girl. That's about all she knows.
Okay. Well, hey, that's great. I mean, see, she's in a new place and lots of new faces, and she was okay. So that's good. Now, she's your partner, your canine partner. Mm-hmm. So does she live at your home then with you?
Yes.
Okay. Not to pry, but do you have family? Like, do you have kids?
I don't have any kids.
Okay.
So it's me, my fiance, and we have another dog at home as well.
Okay. Well, because kids are always into dogs. And by the way, we've got 2 young folks here with us tonight. We have got our floor director, Roxanne. She has got her granddaughter, Lily, here, and her great-nephew, Jackson, here. And they're observing to see what Grandma and Auntie does, what she does here. But they're also, I know Jackson was talking to me earlier about he's all into video stuff, and so who knows, when he gets to be old enough, maybe he'll come join us as a volunteer here. But I want to welcome you guys to the show too. So speaking of kids, so anyway, I know that dogs and kids just kind of go together, but how does she interact with your other dog?
They're like best friends.
Are they?
Yeah, playing all the time.
Yeah.
I think sometimes she saves up all her energy at work just so she can get home and play with her sister.
Is it difficult for a canine to make that transition that, okay, I've got my vest on. Does she have a badge? Does she have a badge also?
She's got a sheriff patch on her vest here.
All right.
Shows she's
and so when the vest and stuff goes on, she obviously knows she's working.
Yes.
when it comes off at home, does she just automatically, as soon as that vest comes off, she automatically goes into regular dog mode and tearing around the yard and playing?
Completely different dog at home. At work, she's super calm like this all day. Really great temperament at home. She brings her wild side out.
Well, that is wonderful. So she's not a dog then that goes out and sniffs for drugs or things like that. But she's got the temperament to help keep people calm, and that will expand a little bit as she gets more trained and certified. But she's also part of the STAR program, and all I know about the STAR program is it's a sobriety assisted treatment program. So, Sheriff, can you tell us what the STAR program is and how she interacts, what she does with it?
Sure. That program we started about 16 months ago, and our initial data was extremely successful. The inmates that come to our facility that are interested in addiction recovery, and it doesn't matter whether it's alcohol, meth, cocaine, or heroin. It does not matter the type of drug. They go through that program, and it's an intense one-on-one counseling, group counseling. They also have some interactive videos. They have the ability to watch and to interact through the internet as well. So it's very intensive. We also provide Vivitrol shots, and those Vivitrol is a drug that's used to stop the impact of opioids and alcohol. It started with alcohol many years ago. Also works on opioids. It also reduces the need for the drug and the drive for the drug. And it really helps people get started on that sobriety start.
So Vivitrol, so who administers that then? Is it like a member of your medical staff or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very expensive. It's about $1,200 a shot.
Oh, wow.
Once a month, so it's good for 30 days. There is a pill form. Pharmaceutical companies are a little bit behind in producing it, and that reduces it to less than $20 a month. So while they're
big difference.
Right. While they're in our facility, we'll put them on the pill, but when they, as they're ready to be released, we'll give them a shot that gives them 30 more days of sobriety. And Solutions Recovery is our partner that we contract with. And Solutions will often come right to the jail, pick them up, and give them a ride to wherever it is they need to go. Oftentimes, it's a recovery facility. So it's that intense program that we have in the jail. It's the Vivitrol, and then it's the ongoing recovery with Solutions or whatever facility they're going to.
I know we do have some, I don't know if they're similar to this, but as a county we do have some programs that, people can avoid jail or prison time. That would be the drug court. There are a couple of other courts that have kind of started or similar programs. So does this, how do they qualify for this program, Sheriff?
Everybody qualifies. That's the great part of it. It's if you want help, we're going to give you help. You have to be engaged. You can't not be engaged with the therapy that's going on. We've seen people really want to get better. And they're at typically their lowest point in their life. They're in jail. I mean, it doesn't really get much worse than that. So we catch them at a time that, I'll call it vulnerable, but they're ready. And we're meeting them right there. So that's part of the success.
Does it, if they're willing to go into this program, does that knock anything off the time that they've been sentenced to?
The district attorney and the judges are working towards that, and yes, as a matter of fact, I just got a text from the DA's office on somebody that did have their time reduced because of an active involvement in our STAR program. It's maintaining that sobriety, though, once you get out. That's super important. What you do inside gets you that start, but what you do on the outside changes your life.
So when they get out, they get that one shot for 30 days. do they get any more shots then, or is it just that one, and then they have to really step up their efforts to maintain their sobriety, attending meetings, getting counseling if they need it, what have you?
They can qualify for additional shots that are administered through the hospitals. We have an agreement with the hospitals for them to continue that shot. Obviously, you don't want to be on it forever.
Yeah.
But
because otherwise, it's just a crutch.
Right. It's just, but it does give them that taste of sobriety for a fairly lengthy period of time.
Sure.
Even if they're just in our jail for 30 days, and then additional 30 days of sobriety with the shot, that's 60 days they may not have had in the last 10 years or longer.
Yeah. Has this, did you guys hear about this kind of a program elsewhere, or did you guys sort of put together a pilot program before really kicking this off 18 months ago?
It was an idea
16 months ago.
that came from some of our jail staff. It also, we had an addict that when we first got Narcan that we brought back from a heroin exposure, and we had her watch her video of her dead, and that was very compelling for her. Now, we followed her through that process, and it wasn't easy. I mean, I now maintain contact with her, but she's been sober for 6 years. And that's part of that we saw a success. And then with jail staff coming up with some very innovative ideas, it has taken hold. There's legislation that's being sponsored to help cover the cost of the program. So we're hopeful that we can build on this with other jails as well. We're presenting to Badger Sheriffs in August.
Okay.
So hopefully they follow.
So is this one of the first ones in Wisconsin then?
It's the only one we know of.
Wow.
The state of Oregon has looked at it.
Okay. It's interesting that no other sheriff's departments anywhere would, want to give this a try. Maybe they can't afford the expense that is involved here, but I mean, that's one thing I will say about this area, whether it's the city police department or the fire department or the sheriff's department. You guys are not afraid to spend money if it can get some good results. And I think the programs that you guys have all tried they're results driven. And what kind of, I know this program's still kind of new, but what kind of recidivism rate do you think it's going to have?
What we have seen with those that have stayed in contact with solutions, 46% are still sober. And that is the best number I've seen from any kind of program in the United States. But again, they have to stay with the program. If they get out of jail, they have their Vivitrol shot, and then after 30 days they're back using again, that's somebody we lost. And oftentimes they die of an overdose because their tolerance is so different. And our overdoses are down significantly from last year at this time. We set a record last year. We can't claim total victory, but certainly we're making an impact, and we plan on growing the program as we can. So far it's been grant funded, other than our own staff time, and they're just taking on additional duties. And Deputy Wilson, Sergeant Rasmussen, Lieutenant Rosick, they are all actively involved in this program, and whenever we run into a roadblock, we fix it.
Yeah. So as a member of the STAR program, as Gracie is, what does she do as part of the program? What are her duties? What's her role?
I think, and Devin has kind of talked about this, it's difficult for someone to remain angry, to remain upset when you have, a K9 that is calm, that has brought some sense of calmness to the scene. And deputies in uniform can be intimidating, especially if someone is high or they're going through a mental health crisis. And sometimes it's just that dog where they see it, they get to pet the dog, they're like, okay, what is it you want me to do? Cutting down on our use of force issues that we have, and her job is to really take care of those types of issues within the jail. We plan on expanding once she's certified out into the community. We have some, a school in Winchester where we have kids that have behavioral issues, or they've been abused, and using her in those situations to calm kids down.
Sure. So how long have you been with the department, Deputy, and how long have you been partnered with? Were you partnered with another canine before you got Gracie?
No, this is my first one.
Okay.
So I've worked here for 3 years now, and then I got Gracie in the end of January, and I've been working with her ever since. I've been doing all the training for her, and she's been coming to work with me every day since I got her.
Yeah. I bet people's faces just light up with a big old smile when they see her.
Yeah, she makes
like most
everyone's
people.
day.
You know, I saw something the other day, and I couldn't help but smile. There was a guy walking his dog down the street. I can't remember what kind of dog it was, because that wasn't what struck me. What struck me is the dog, I don't know if it was a he or she even, but the dog had a big old toy in its mouth. And this dog is walking down the street like nobody's business, like he's on or she's on a mission. But that toy was in her mouth, and she was just walking the toy as she was being walked. And I just broke out with a big old smile, because you don't see that often. But yet that dog was interested in its toy, and it wasn't letting go of it. So what else will she do once she's fully certified? Or is that kind of it because of the type of canine she is?
Yeah, that'll be it. There'll be no drug detection, drug detection or handler protection. It will be strictly a therapy dog in an environment. The inmates that we are receiving that are coming through our facility, we have seen them, they're medically fragile because of the years of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, more so than when I started so very, very long ago. And we need to look at things differently on how we care for them, and how we try to take advantage of this sobriety time. And her job is to help them do that.
She's so sweet. And she's not doing anything. She's just, I don't know if she's sitting or lying there. I can't really tell.
I think
looks like she's
she's
probably
laying
lying
down now.
Yeah.
But, I really wish that she was a different color so she wouldn't kind of blend in so we could see her better. But, hey, we can't dye her color right here, can we? And so she's 11 months old now. She will be a year next month. She'll be a year old?
The end of this month, yeah.
End of this month, okay. And then when do you anticipate she'll be certified?
We'll just be guessing probably somewhere around September.
Okay, so by the fall,
Yeah.
probably, or thereabouts. Okay. Anything else about her that we want to talk about? Because I want to talk more about the whole canine program at the Sheriff's Department, but anything specific about her? I know you love her.
I do.
I can tell
I do.
that.
Everyone does love her.
It doesn't take long,
No.
to start loving an animal. It doesn't. It just...
There are employees that take their entire break with Gracie. That's all they want to do is, and it's when you are with, when you're in that stressful environment for 12 hours at a time, having a little bit of relief yourself with Gracie is extremely important to our employees. So not only does she help the inmates, not only does she help the community, but she helps our employees as well.
Yeah. When we talk about her helping inmates, clearly in a jail, it's not like a prison where you've got varying degrees of criminals. Would there be any type of crime that someone in the jail has committed that you would not want to put her in contact with?
We do have people who have committed or allegedly committed first-degree intentional homicide. So we have the same people that the prison has. It's just that they're not convicted yet, most of them, on the major felonies.
Yeah.
We have to. There isn't anybody that wouldn't be allowed to have contact unless they were overly aggressive. we have inmates that are classified based on their behaviors, based on their crimes, alleged crimes, etc. But if there was a need and it met the criteria,
sure,
certainly we can use her.
What about, this just happened to come to my mind. What about someone who is accused or convicted? Because I know sometimes people can be convicted and they only get like a year or less, and so they don't never go to prison. They stay in the jail. Usually if it's more than a year, they're off to prison. But what if you've got someone in the jail, whether they're convicted or awaiting trial, and they are accused of or have been convicted of some type of animal abuse? Would you put her in contact with them, or would it depend on the situation?
I think it would really depend on the situation. Certainly, she's an employee of ours, as well as being a therapy dog. So our employees our deputies go into dangerous situations every day.
They sure do.
And so it would really depend. I would never want to put her in a situation where she's not monitored and it's someone that has either molested or abused dogs. And but it would really be situational.
Sure. Okay. So I think that's great, and I wish you and Gracie much success in getting certified by later this year, and just exercising her full potential with the department, and hopefully for a very long time to come. Before you got Gracie, what were you doing, Deputy, within the department?
So I started out working in the jail. I worked in the jail for about a year and a half, and then I spent a little bit of time on patrol last year. Then I ended up going back to the jail last October, and then in January I got Gracie. Yeah.
I'm just curious because I've had a partner in my lifetime who has been a long-time law enforcement person. And I know that being out on the road is it's a lot more dangerous than it used to be. I'm just curious, your own personal preference. Do you like the jail better because it's a little bit safer environment? Although it can never be completely safe. You never know what these people are going to do. But do you feel a little bit more comfort and safety in the jail? Or is there something about being out on patrol that you really kind of dig?
I really like the structure of the jail where you're doing this at this time and your day is kind of planned out when you get there.
Yeah.
Patrol, you show up to work, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
So I really like the structure of the jail, and I'm glad I went back to the jail because now I got Gracie and I have the best job in the department now.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody's envious of you.
Yeah.
Well, that is wonderful. So let's talk in general about the K9 program. And I went to your website and I was grateful to see this. I pulled up a little history. Do you know the history of the K9 program at the jail or in the Sheriff's Department?
Well, I do know that it dates back into the 70s.
It does.
And it was resurrected around 2006-ish in that time frame. I was patrol captain at the time, and we had a very large donor that came to us and said, I will donate everything that you need to get started. And since her donation, obviously we have acquired the last 3 general purpose K9s that we have, the Shepherds, have all been donated by Tom and Penny Herrenberg.
Yeah, I was going to talk about them because these dogs do not come cheaply.
No.
And they're between them and their training and everything that they need equipment-wise, it's well over. It's between $10,000 and $20,000.
It is,
and it can be more than that if need be. And these folks, I'll go back to the history, but Tom and Penny Herrenberg. They donated $17,500 for Gracie to be purchased, trained, and to buy equipment for her. And in 2015, they donated another $17,500 for a K9 dog. And in 2022, just 2 years ago, they donated $14,700 to the K9 program. Such wonderful generous gifts from this couple. They must really love the canine unit.
They do, and Gracie was actually paid for out of our normal canine fund. They purchased.
You know what?
There
was an article that I saw, and it's wrong apparently.
Oh, okay. But she was purchased out of our canine fund. They did purchase, however, the 3 most recent dual-purpose dogs, and yeah, it's about $17,500 was the last one, which was very recent.
Dual-purpose dog. What is that?
Meaning drug detection and handler protection.
Okay.
And it's a great tool, not just for the drug detection, which is rampant, but the handler protection, because oftentimes just the sight of a dog is enough to have compliance. Now, all right, bet. What is it that you want me to do?
Yeah.
My favorite story is when we first got our canines back in the 06 time frame. A drunk driver took off, ran through a cornfield. We let the dog go. The driver actually ran back to an open squad door and slammed it shut. And, it's that equalizer of, okay, I'm done.
It's interesting because they run the risk of being shot or nowadays perhaps tased, kind of thrown to the ground to get control and handcuffed and everything. But yet, all you have to do is say, we're releasing the dog. Boom! That's all it takes for some people.
Yeah.
They must, I don't know, there's something about being bit by a dog. And I have been in that situation where I've tried to break up dog fights between my own dogs and others, but I know what a dog bite can do. Mm-hmm. And I agree with them. I would not want to be, I don't want to have a dog chasing after me. But and somebody said to me one time, well, the dogs are so rough with them. They can really, I saw one guy and he was all scratched up and bitten up. Well, what do you expect? Yeah. I said they're given fair warning before that dog is released.
Right. Yeah, we had a bite that occurred a few years ago, and as the suspect is pulling a weapon from his waistband, the dog bit, obviously saving officer lives or injury. And
or
maybe,
its own, perhaps.
Yes, exactly, his own, because we didn't have to use deadly force. The dog was enough to, the handgun went flying, and we were able to take him into custody. So it is a great equalizer.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I've been tased. I've had OC used on me. I would not want to be bit by a dog. I have never volunteered for that.
See, I wouldn't want to be tased either. I went through, and this is a whole different subject, but many years ago, the Oshkosh Police Department has this Citizens Academy, and you apply for it, and I forget how many weeks it is. It's one time a week, but you actually learn about being an officer. Clearly you don't go through the full process, and then you do a ride along with officers to see what it is they do. And we had an opportunity to be tased, and I said, no, thanks. I just didn't want to chance it.
Yeah.
But the person that I was involved with for so many years, has been tased, has the OC stuff. Walking through a little house type thing that's fully gassed, and it's all good training, but no, I don't think I'd want to be bit by a dog. But I don't know. That being tased is right up there, I think. I don't know that I want that either.
I've been tased several times. I'll take that over a dog bite.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And we also have a Citizens Academy. It starts in August.
Yes, I was going to ask you if you do.
It's
August.
8 weeks, I believe.
8 weeks.
It's on Wednesday nights, I think. And we have had great reviews. We will run you through training, high level, high stress training. And when you can get the heart rate above 140 beats per minute because of stress, you'll really find out what you're made of. And
I think these Citizens Academies are wonderful because it really, not only is it super educational, but it gives, you guys get a bad rap a lot of times, especially these days. I see all the chatter on social media and so forth and on TV, and I can't stand it, because I come from that law enforcement background, if you will. And that's why I have such appreciation for what you guys do. And police and firefighters too. But, you know, you get a really good perspective of what you guys do when you go through that Citizens Academy. And that might, I'll talk to you about that afterwards. It might be something I want to do again. But so it starts in August. It's 8 weeks, every Wednesday night.
Yes.
For how long?
I believe it's a few hours a night.
Okay.
6 p.m. to 8, I believe.
Okay.
But if you go to our website, you
I'll
can
check
sign
that
up.
out.
Yeah.
How many people can you accommodate in that class?
We try to keep it to 12 or less.
Okay.
So we keep things are safe, but you are going to experience things that, that we experience. And it gives you a real perspective of what stress does to the body and the decisions that you have to make. And granted, we've been training much longer, I understand that, but it is not an easy job to do.
It's not. And so opening those eyes just a little bit to what you experienced. And you learn stuff. I mean, they gave us plastic guns and holsters and so forth. And they took us up in the safety building and to an abandoned floor or whatever, and taught us how to work methodically with each other to clear a room, to clear a floor with our little makeshift plastic guns. But it's fascinating. It really is. I might want to do that again.
We'll actually give you a simunition, which will, when you shoot somebody, it leaves a little paint mark, and it's using the weapons that we use with different barrels. There's totally safe, but if you get hit with one, you'll know it. It leaves a little mark, and
so it's like a little tiny paint gun.
It is basically, but using your own weapon, we interchange barrels, and then it'll leave you a mark, and then it also leaves a mark in your subconscious of, okay, I can't do that again because I just got shot.
Yeah.
So we use that often.
So we're not going to have an Alec Baldwin situation.
No, I guarantee you we will not have an Alec Baldwin.
Good.
Yes.
That's good to know. I shouldn't make light of it because that was a tragedy for sure. But, it raises questions, for people doing different things. Do you ever want to encounter something like that, and are you safe? So that's good. What else about that academy do you want to share with folks?
It's, like I said, the reviews have been so positive. The realistic nature of it. And you go out on patrol with our patrolmen, you work in the jail, you work in dispatch, you sit alongside them. We've had some of the graduates have been to fatality crashes. And that's a different perspective too, because now you're dealing with the emotion of the crash, but you have to set all that aside, and what does your training tell you, and what do you need to get done, even though it's horrific. Yeah. And so that's different for people that attend too. It could be a shift that really not much goes on, or it could be one of those that's you'll never forget.
And you never know what kind of
the
shift it's going to
brings,
be.
Yeah.
See, now that is intriguing to me, because I know it was a lot of years ago when I did the Oshkosh Police Department Citizens Academy, but we didn't work with dispatch. Obviously, we didn't work in a jail because their inmates go to the jail. So there's some elements there that I've not had exposure to. So
I'd love to have you.
Yeah, I would love that. I want to talk a little bit more about the K9 unit and go back to the history. So you were right; it goes back to the 70s. December 14th, 1978 is when the K9 team was formed. Smokey and Jet were the first German Shepherd dogs on duty. And they were actually trained by the Cascade County Sheriff's Department in Montana. And then in June of '79, the SWAT team was organized. Most people don't think about SWAT teams too much, but SWAT team was organized and became part of the department. And so how many K9s do you guys have in your K9 unit right now?
So we have 3 dual-purpose dogs, which are your German Shepherds, and then...
Why are they just German Shepherds?
Oh, they can be other dogs.
Okay.
That
just happens to be what... Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
There are other ones, other breeds that can be used. It's what we're comfortable with,
sure.
And the breeder that we chose. Then we have Gracie, and then we also have a explosive detections dog, that our handler, we actually got the dog from UW Oshkosh.
Oh.
Their handler left the agency and had been through several different handlers.
From their police department?
Yes.
Okay.
And so they allowed us to take the dog. We trained the handler, and it's used for Titan events. It's also used for arena events, used at the high schools. It's also used on crime scenes for sniffing out ejected rounds, because it can smell that gunpowder. And we've been very successful in actually locating spent casings, etc.
Interesting. So 3, and then Gracie, and then this explosive detection dog. So 5?
5 total.
Okay.
Yep.
Are there any more slated to be coming on, or is 5 the max of where you kind of keep things at?
I think 5's the max.
Okay.
You know, the program itself, although we get donations, and we do have donations that we have at the foundation that we can utilize for medical issues, etc. It's still a program that costs us money, and we want to be careful. And yes, that's our max.
Sure. And just because the Herrenbergs have made these very generous and kind donations in large amounts, you know what? You could donate $17. Whatever you want to donate would be very appreciative by the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department. And if someone does want to donate something, how would they go about that? Is there a place on your website, or can they just write out a check and bring it down to the department? Or
they certainly can, but write it to the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, Winnebago County K9 Fund.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, make it out to the foundation, and then in
Oshkosh
the memo.
Area Community Foundation, and then what was the other part?
The Winnebago County K9 Fund, Sheriff's Office K9 Fund.
Winnebago County Sheriff's Department K9 Fund.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even think you could fit that much on a check.
You probably can't. But
you'd have to abbreviate.
Yeah, if the check itself is made out to the foundation.
Okay.
And then we just have to make sure it goes into our fund.
So they should make a note on the check.
That would
maybe
be fine too. Yeah.
Okay. And then can they go to your website and make a donation as well?
I don't believe so. They can go to the foundations though, and they could make it there.
Okay.
But we have to be careful what we take on our website for funds.
Sure. Are there any things that you would need as donations other than money, or is that pretty much it?
That's pretty much it. Our explosives dog just had to have surgery.
Oh, really? What was wrong?
She ate part of a rug.
Oh, jeez. Now that's a true dog.
You're right. She's a black lab.
Okay.
And in its truest form, she's a black lab. So a lot of energy and, yeah.
She ate part of a rug, and it became obstructed?
Yes.
It caused an obstruction?
Yes.
People don't think about that stuff.
Yep.
They don't think about those things. And yeah, anything can cause an obstruction if it's big enough or it gets lodged in just the right way. So she had surgery. Is she fully okay now?
Yep, she's back to full duty, and actually was at a crime scene, located a spent shell casing not long ago. So everything's good, but that's on the handler. The dog can't make mistakes, but the handler can. So.
Well, but I mean, thinking about that, I mean, we all have, those of us who have dogs, we're not with them 24/7.
Right.
I would imagine with the canines, it's the same thing. I mean, don't you have times when you leave your house or apartment or wherever you live, and the 2 dogs are left alone, or do you always take her with you?
Well, there's times where she's home alone.
So any dog could eat part of a carpet or, get into stuff. But see, I wouldn't think that's handler problem or handler error. I see what you're saying, but, I mean, if you're not babysitting 24/7.
No, I understand what you're saying, but we stress to our handlers. There's a huge investment in these
absolutely
dogs that are employees of the Sheriff's Office and serve our citizens. So we need to make sure that they're taken care of.
Yeah.
And they all do a wonderful job. And things happen. My own dog ate a tube sock, so yeah.
My nephew's dog ate a couple of different things and had to have surgery to clear an obstruction.
Yeah.
And earring was one of them. I think a sock might have been another one, but you know, and I'm just going to take a moment here to get on my little soapbox for a moment, just a moment. If you have a pet or a dog, do not give it any rawhide products. That stuff can get caught in their system so easily, so quickly, and it does not, the system does not digest it. And so if you want to avoid obstructions from treats or toys, please avoid rawhide products. They're just no good. So I'll get off my soapbox now. So what else about the canine unit? I know. How often, like, do they have to go back for refresher training? Like officers are always getting refresher courses and so forth?
They train every month for 8 hours.
Wow.
So it's extensive, the dual-purpose dogs. It's extensive. And
who trains them?
They go to, it's just south of here.
Okay. It's a training facility.
Yeah, training facility.
Okay. So you guys don't train them yourselves?
No, but the handlers are very actively engaged in the type of training. And they get together with other canines, obviously, and they collectively do training together, and then they're recertified annually.
Okay. And you guys as a department are accredited, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, if I think about poor canine Magic, such a tragedy at such a young age and so unexpected. Whether it's old age and they retire or something happens and they pass, if you lose a canine, what does that officer then do while they're waiting for another dog, and how long can it possibly take, I'm sure it varies, to get another dog?
You know, fortunately, we have not had a dog pass on duty. They have retired, and you know, unfortunately, they tend to pass away quickly. It's because of, I think it's honestly because of the drive that they have, and
they're no longer working.
Yeah, they're no longer.
It's like people, right? I mean, how often do we hear of people who, you know, they retire and very shortly after, they unexpectedly pass away?
Yeah, so
you know?
We have not had that. So we try to give as many people in the department the opportunity to be a canine deputy. So we try not to have handlers repeat, and we offer it up to, because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to be a canine handler, and even though there's some great benefits, you know, we want to spread that work out and the benefit to it as well.
Sure. Do you ever get dogs that are donated to you?
Not specifically donated, just through the funds themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're particular about what dogs we take, and we go to New Mexico for the training, and we want to make sure that there's a match between our handler and the dog, and that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, yeah. I was doing an article just the other day. Well, I have to say this fast because we're almost out of time. I was doing an article the other day about a guy who trains dogs who then go to military veterans. And he was saying that I think it's 79% or 70%, something like that. It's a huge amount of dogs that flunk out of training, evaluations, whatever. They just don't make it. So that's a huge, so you're right. You have to have that perfect fit.
Yes.
So, all right. So many other questions, but I think we covered some really good points tonight. Thank you so much for being here, you guys, and for bringing Gracie. She's sweet. I'm anxious to see what she becomes as she, you know, continues her time with the department and gets certified and everything. Thank you very much, not just for being here, but for what you guys do. I'm speaking for, I'm sure, a lot of people, but certainly for myself, I'm very grateful for what you guys do to keep our community safe. So thanks to them, thanks to our guest Robin Milner earlier, thank you to my crew and Roxy's two little helpers tonight. They've been giving me time cues, and thank you guys for that. You did a great job. And thanks to the rest of my crew who's here all the time. We will see you next time, and thanks to you too. And we'll see you next time. Until then, take good care. Keep your eye on us. We've got our eye on Oshkosh.